We kept failing, and all it did was make us feel more distant from the Father.
Have you ever felt like you just can't get it right with the Father? Like, no matter what you do, it's never enough?
Yeah, we've definitely been there. We've missed it so many ways. Quiet times, trust, obedience, and even now, it's still a journey. But back then, deep down, we felt like we maybe won't ever get there.
I remember thinking, if I could just fix myself, maybe I'd feel closer to the Father. But all that effort just made me feel more disconnected.
But the Holy Spirit never met us with pressure. He met us with love, and He began to show us that we were never meant to strive for what has already been given.
If you're tired of feeling like a spiritual failure, this video is for you. When was it that you noticed religion was just not working for you anymore?
Well, I guess I first had to notice that it was religious thinking. And that was really, I knew the terminology, religion, but I didn't realize that that was actually the thing that was motivating a lot of how I saw the Father, how I related to other people. And it wasn't until the Holy Spirit really started to expose my weakness and my inability. And it's like I knew, okay, I don't come to God perfect, but deep down inside I felt like, but I got to bring something, right? I got to bring something valuable. And the Holy Spirit really began to show me how much selfish ambition and really an orphan mindset was influencing that. And it really began to leave me feeling a bit hopeless. I started to feel like, man, I can't measure up. And it's funny saying that because of course you can't, but I'm really feeling the weight of that. And then the Spirit really began to actually reveal to me more than just at a head level, but in an understanding in my heart. It was never about measuring up, not even a little bit. And I knew the truth in my head, but now it was reaching this place of deep subconscious understanding. It's not about what I bring at all. It's only about what He's doing in me.
Yeah. I know for me, it was whenever I started experiencing that I was just hitting a wall. Like I knew that there was something more there, but I don't know, it just seemed like I wasn't really getting it. And my like just holding up to spiritual disciplines, like trying to pray but failing to do that every day or whatever, like reading the Bible, spending time in prayer, things like that. I just felt like even my spiritual disciplines were not even getting me to this place of surpassing this wall that I kept facing. And it wasn't until the Holy Spirit like pinpointed to me that I just didn't know how much I was really loved. That spiritual disciplines, though they are really beneficial and they're helpful, but they are not enough to help us fathom the love of the Father to us. And so in this conversation with the Holy Spirit, I was just thinking about like, how do I see you as a loving Father when growing up and growing up in a home that was, going to church and all the things, like whenever I would usually see Him as you're holy, you're almighty, you're just this grand God that is just beautiful and magnificent, which all of that is true. But how do I really connect that He is this grand God, but He's also my Father? And so that was a really, kind of a tension point for me. But the Holy Spirit began to take me on a journey of what it does mean to feel like I'm loved, to know and believe that I'm loved by the Father, and that it's beyond spiritual discipline, it's beyond religion or all the things. It goes so much deeper than that. And so once I was on this journey, I felt like I had been in this room that was like the room that I've always been in, but it was dark. And whenever I was on this journey and He started revealing the love of the Father to me, nothing new. Like, it's not like I didn't know that the Father didn't, or that it's not like I didn't know that the Father loved me, but it was like a light turned on in this room where I was like, Oh my gosh, it's beyond just knowing in my brain. It is like a heart level just hit me so hard. And I was like, I've literally been in this room, but now the light is on and I there's just something different about it that's way more than religion. It's not religion. It's super relational.
It
But yeah.
became more of an experience than a
Yes.
knowledge.
Yeah, way more.
So let's get to the bottom of it. What's the real issue? Why is it that we keep falling into striving?
I think it's because our flesh craves to seek validation, and our human nature just kind of defaults to doing things in our own power and is like, my value is in what I do. And so that's kind of what I feel we naturally fall into.
Yeah. When we strive or put in our own effort, we often expect a sense of fulfillment to follow that. Like, it's like the harder I try, right, the better sacrifice I bring, the closer I'll get to God. And so that's a carnal perspective, but it's very influential on how we think about our relationship with God. So it keeps pushing us to bring our own effort to the table.
Yeah, I feel like whenever we have these expectations that we put on ourselves because we feel like this is how we can gain our value subconsciously or consciously, but then we fall short of those things, then it's like, oh, we really do want to feel more loved and more validation because we're putting it into things that we do instead of who we are.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's an experiment that's been done a lot with mice or rats, and they'll get them addicted to drugs. And they'll actually cause them to go and press a button that shocks the mouse.
Mm.
Like it causes an electrical pulse to hit the mouse, but if it hits it, then it'll get the drug. And it'll keep doing that even to the point where the drug is killing it and it's causing itself pain. But that cycle just keeps it going back to that damaging behavior. And that's kind of like the flesh.
Right, which leaves us completely disconnected with the Father because it's all, self-reliance versus being
Yep.
spirit-led and having that real deep heart connection.
Yeah,
So,
and flesh reliance over spirit led. It's like Galatians 3:3. Paul's like, how is it that you can be so foolish? And he asks this amazing question. Are having begun by the Spirit, are you now going to finish in your own fleshly effort?
if you're struggling with this or this feels relatable to you, here are a couple of tips that have helped us in these moments. And one of them for me for sure is creating a space for quiet time where there's not an agenda. I think that in some cases I would make a list of what I need to pray for or whatever, and if it wasn't something that I did, then it just made me feel like a failure. So creating time to allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you.
Yeah. Another one, and this comes back to the relationship aspect, is talk to the Holy Spirit and ask Him specifically questions about, like, what lie am I believing about the Father right now? What am I trying to earn from Him? I had a discussion earlier today where I was reflecting on how failures of men in my life painted a picture of the Father that I didn't even know I saw, but it caused a distance in my own heart because I felt like I had to approach God this way. So asking the Holy Spirit, what lies am I believing about the Father right now? Lead me to the truth about His love for me.
And I love what Romans 8:5 or 8:15 says, "The Spirit you receive does not make you slaves so that you live in fear again. Rather, the Spirit you receive brought about your adoption to sonship, and by Him we cry, Abba,
Abba,
Father."
Father. Yeah, so trade the performance checklist for a relational connection. Again, trade the performance checklist. I'm not checking off the boxes. I'm not doing my religious duties. I'm coming close in relational connection.
And focus on being with the Father, not what you need to do for Him, because He just wants to be with you.
If you're feeling burnt out, it's not because you're failing. Religion was never meant to heal you. It only points out your shortcomings. It cannot fix them.
You're not behind, and he's calling you to come close, and he's wanting you to come to him without performance.
The Holy Spirit is already leading you out of striving and into freedom.
He is kind, and he is super patient, and he wants to walk with you step by step. You don't have to be a perfect Christian. You just have to believe that you are his child. The Father already delights in you.
And if you felt like you're doing all the right things, but still don't feel loved by the Father, this video will help you break free from striving and actually receive his love.
If this resonated with you, subscribe for more videos like this. We release new Spirit-led content every week.
We love you, and we've been where you are. We're still in it. But this journey with the Holy Spirit, he's leading us home to the Father's love.